Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. As we're in the middle of summer and definitely dealing with the high road construction season, thought it'd be nice if we take a look at a Constructicon. So we're looking at the Decepticon Materials Fabrication Expert, Mixmaster. Mixmaster was released in 1985, along with the other Constructicons. He would also be available in 1986. He would be discontinued by 1987, and we would not get a replacement for him. Although in some ways he would return in 1990 when Devastator was re-released as an Action Master. But the less said about that, the better. Mixmaster is unique amongst the Constructicons, as he's one of the few to have a rather unique function. And it's probably one of the more useful ones due to his mixing drum here. As in the lore, he can use his mixing drum to cobble together just about any materials the Decepticons would need to build their fortifications with. And in a lot of ways, Mixmaster was often more than willing to use whatever materials were at hand to come up with these strange things that he would need, including still living beings, if he wanted to be psychotic enough. At any rate, this one also holds a little bit special things for me, as Mixmaster here was my first Constructicon. And this is that exact same one. Hard to believe, he's about 40 years old and still looks pretty good. Still looks in halfway decent shape. Anyway, for articulation, Mixmaster can rotate his arm at the shoulder. Probably should have used the other one. His arm can rotate all the way around when it doesn't have a gun in it. Let's take out one of the guns, and then you can see the arms do rotate all the way around instead of catching on the hip, like they famously showed that they can do. And he can bend his legs at the knee, but he really can't stand on them, so that's kind of a pointless thing. Plus, as you inadvertently saw there, he does have a mounted missile launcher on his head. A little black lever here on the left side of his body, and it causes him to fire the cannons that he has mounted on his head, despite the fact that they're more used for other things. But we'll fire them off again. It only went just up to the wall there. Do it from an angle so you all can see just how far he shoots them. See? Not really a whole lot of range, and certainly no oomph. So unless he's standing point blank to somebody, like a G.I. Joe figure without a figure stand, he's not really going to hurt anything with it. Okay, to transform Mixmaster, first we got to remove all of his weapons. That includes this one up here. Thank you very much. Now to transform Mixmaster, we get his arms straight down like so, and push them inward. And then we rotate his knees up and around, like so. And there we are. His alternate mode is a cement mixer. Supposedly a Kenworth model of cement mixer. And he looks pretty good at it, despite being in this bright neon green and purple. But then again, those of us in 1985, that's how we remember Devastator. That's how we will always remember Devastator. Take that as you may. Of course, we can also make him an attack cement mixer by mounting his small laser gun there above the canopy for the driver's area. And here, just before the mixing drum, we can mount the large gun. And there we've got it. Probably the ultimate answer for a road construction crew to those of us in traffic that don't like being blocked. I don't know about you, but I know we got around here some green cement mixers around here, and I'd hate to look up in my rear view mirror and see two cannons mounted on it. As for how well does he roll, well, let's see how he does on the little plastic wheels. Fairly well. Has this odd tendency to curve a little, so... And of course, after all these years, the guns don't stick into him very well, so might lose one along the way. But still rolls around enough to be fun. Now let's take a look at his loose parts. We'll start here with his gun. It's a black laser pistol. Pretty nondescript. There isn't much to say about it, really. And we got a little grip for him and a very tiny barrel. So it's kind of about what you would expect from a science fiction inspired toy. And next we have a Magna laser. This is Devastator's gun. It's pretty wicked looking. Of course, some of you may be asking me why he has a part to Devastator. Well, back when they released the Constructicons, each of them came with the component pieces. Since Mixmaster and Scrapper were both the legs and feet, and Devastator didn't use any of the foot pads like the later ones would, they had to come with something else. Everybody else came with the parts that would be more associated with them. Like Scavenger and Bone Crusher had the hands. Hook, being the head and shoulders, had the head. And Long Haul had the hip shield and, of course, the hip unit in general. Scrapper came with the chest shield, despite the fact that he's the right leg. So what's left to give the left leg that is Mixmaster? He gets the gun. This would be a process that would not get repeated until Monstructor would be released in 1989. So, now wait a minute, nope, I tell a lie. It would be redone again in 86, the following year in 86 with Predaking, as both Tantrum and Headstrong would come with the feet for Predaking. Rampage and Dive Bomb had the hands for Predaking, as they were the arms, and Razor Claw came with the head, as he was the body. Anyway, getting back on point here. Then next up for Mixmaster's parts, we have two of what the instructions label as twin blasters. These are chrome pieces, obviously. These are the pieces that connect into Mixmaster's head. While this one truly is a twin blaster, since it has two guns, he also came with this single one that only has one. There's really no preference as to which one you use. Basically, it gives you a second blast to fire off from his head. And back then, that's really all we wanted. Extra ammo. Alright, let's take a look now at Mixmaster's card. Card here isn't in the best of shape, but it will certainly serve our purposes. Of course, right up here would be where they kept all the little pieces for Mixmaster, and right here would be where he was. As we can see by the price sticker still left on him, he retailed for about $6. But this one was on clearance, so he retailed for $4. As you can see here on the back side, they cram in a lot of information into such a small area. Right up top, we had the barcode. Right next to it would be the robot point. He was worth 1 robot point, and that's amazing, especially when in the following year, combiner components here like Slingshot would be going for half a point. So, I think Hasbro was trying to screw us out of our mail-aways. And then the rest of the top would be dominated by the Ad 4 Devastator, showcasing off all the other Constructicons. Noticeably here on Mixmaster, they would depict him as having a gray mixing drum, whereas, as you saw in the final product, he does not. I guess they decided that one paint app should go away. Again, Hasbro cheapness. We keep making fun of it here, but we ain't the only ones. And down here for the instructions, we got a nice drawing of Mixmaster, a showing of all of his pieces. How to turn him into the attack cement truck. And then how to transform him from cement truck to robot mode. And of course how to put the stickers on him. Mine doesn't have any stickers. I really ought to go look for a loose sticker sheet for him. Make him look a little better. And then here, get the reminder to save the aforementioned robot points up at the top. And how to read the tech spec down here at the bottom. Taking a look at his tech spec, it's all done up in purple to show he's a Decepticon. It lists him as a Constructicon, and it uses the same picture that's found on the front of the package. It lists his name as Mixmaster. His function is materials fabrication. And his motto is, how strong the steel, how quick the conquest. Nothing is safe from him. Will use anything from unliving rock to living robot in making new materials. Uses acids and bonding agents to reduce and recombine almost anything inside his mixing drum. A chemical lab on wheels. As left leg module, combines with fellow Constructicons to form giant robot Devastator. So he's pretty wicked and almost a mad scientist of sorts. At any rate, let's lay the decoder over and take a look at his stats. It gives his strength as 7, his speed is 6, his intelligence is 6, his speed is 3, because let's face it, we've been behind a cement mixer. They don't go fast. His endurance is 8. His rank is 4. His courage is 6. His firepower is 7. And his skill is 9. So, while being roughly about average in most of his stats, Mixmaster does make up for it in his ability to make new materials. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Mixmaster? Mixmaster has always been one of those that's been more interesting to me overall. I can't say that about growing up with him, since back then I had the advantage of being young and stupid. Now that I just turned 40, I can give up on being young, but I can still stay stupid. But the unique ability that he has here with his mixing drum does make him effectively useful to the Decepticon army, as he can make any sort of material that they need to construct their outposts and fortifications. So, back in the day, if you really wanted to get wild with it, you could pretend to throw things in there and dump out a bunch of building blocks or Lego bricks. And there you go. Build up your fortifications, and you're ready to have a battle. So yeah, back in the day, a lot of that for imaginative play was encouraged. Something that, from what I've seen out of today's youth, it's really not, and that's a disappointing thing. This is something I have commented to many of my friends about the modern Transformers, that they don't really talk about what they do for their respective armies anymore. It's only back in the old days that you really got something of an idea as to what they did besides stand around and fire their guns at somebody who's not wearing the same symbol that they are. And when you get somebody like Mixmaster here, who has a rather unique function and a very special and specific purpose, to see that being lost among today's youth with the way they're doing the toys nowadays, that's a real shame overall. But getting down to this original toy, I always enjoyed it growing up, but it just falls slightly short of being into the top tier. So I'm going to put him in the middle, but just right at the edge, since obviously he hasn't held up as well as he should have over the years, as his arms are pretty loose here. He loses a little bit of the articulation, but I think the thing that really bugs me about him is the way they write up about him on the tech spec bio. They really don't cover a lot of the information about him that I think they should have to make him a little bit more of a sinister character. I think that was a lost opportunity. I understand why they wouldn't have done it in the cartoon. That, and also, let's face it, the launching gizmo here on his head, it's not really that impressive. When you fire it off and almost immediately it dives to the ground. Well, then again, while we got you all on camera here, let's get the single one out. You might as well see how that one fires. Let's put the single one in. Let's see. Does it do any better? Nope. Not really all that much better. So, they'd have probably been better off just keeping it neutered like the launchers were on the guys released back in '84. And just have us pretend, or even just not bother, just pretend it's shooting lasers from right there instead of launching it like a missile. So, wasted opportunity. But still, a pretty good toy and an essential cog if you're going to build Devastator. Anyway, that concludes my review of the Generation 1 Decepticon Materials Fabrication Expert, Mixmaster. If you like the video, leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. New to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below to join our ranks. And ring the bell so you'll be notified when I post new content. Also, please consider sharing your thoughts about Mixmaster in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.